At SilverHammer Surveillance, we are most known for protecting people, protecting your family, protecting your home, protecting your business, protecting your staff. And I love that. I love that with every fiber of my being. I love giving people peace of mind. I love helping people feel safe. But there's another subject that brings me joy, fills my heart, gives me a little twinkle in my eye, and that's tech. Huge tech geek right here. And that brings us today's episode of Tech Talk with Mr. SilverHammer. People realize that we sell surveillance equipment and security equipment, but what they don't realize is that we also sell pretty much every tech device you can think of. And we specialize in the smart home, or in this case, the smart apartment. But we can get you pretty much any tech device you want and help you install it and teach you how to use it. So I bring all this stuff in here, I try it all out myself, and I will not sell it to you unless I'll put my stamp on it first. So if I love it, I'll sell it to you, I'll install it for you. If I hate it, I'm not even going to mention it. So we're going to do tech reviews and unboxings and all that, but today I just wanted to give you a tour of my smart apartment and how I kind of demonstrate all this stuff before I will bring it to the masses. So I'm going to give you a tour. I'm going to explain the platform we're controlling it on today, which today is Apple HomeKit. But there's kind of three basic platforms out there. There's Apple HomeKit, there's Google Home, and then there's Amazon's version. But today we're using Apple HomeKit. And so I'm going to kind of show you each device, show you how the app works with that device, and then at the end I'm going to kind of give you a broad overview of Apple HomeKit and how that app works. It's an app built into your phone. So in this version you'd be an Apple person, but it doesn't mean you can't use this stuff with Google Assistant and ALIXA. So tour first, demonstration of HomeKit. Also going to kind of cut away and show you how some of this stuff works at night, since it's not nighttime, obviously, but we've got smart lights and things that I want to show you at night. So enjoy the tour. Here we go. Okay, so let the tour begin in our entryway. Keep in mind every device that we go over today, I'll put a link in the description below, and if you want to check out the device, feel free to use that link. Let's start with the August Smart Lock. This is the August Wi-Fi Smart Lock. You can control this thing manually, or you can control it with your phone. It just covers your existing deadbolt, so the only hardware is on the inside. The outside of your door looks exactly as it always did. But that just covers the deadbolt. And again, you can turn that manually or control it with your phone. So you can unlock it remotely, you can lock it remotely, you can set it to remember to lock itself after a few minutes after you leave, so that way you don't forget to lock the door. It's also got the functionality through Bluetooth to know when you're approaching the door, and it'll unlock it automatically. And it'll know that for each family member that you set it up for. So it won't do it for everyone, it'll just do it for the people you set up. And then so it'll know their phone's location, and as you start to approach the door, it'll unlock itself for you. And then everybody gets notified of who unlocked the door by name, which is cool, so you know who's coming and going. And so with setting that up for each person, you'll have a log of every time one of those people used the door. So you could give a code to a relative that's just visiting and then take it away when they've left. You can give it to a UPS person, post office person, whatever you want to do, and then take the code away immediately. So if you really want to have a package delivered and then you can see your door on camera, you could use it that way. But it's very handy for family members. Okay, let's move on to the Brilliant Light Switch. These are pretty cool. This is the single switch version, but you can get them in single switches, 2 switches, 3 switches, 4 switches. So this thing itself is a slider. So if I slide up and down with my finger right now, I could turn my lights on and off. You can see that you can set up a slideshow of different pictures, and I just picked the city, but you could have personal pictures there if you want. It tells you the weather, but again, I can slide up and down on this and turn my lights on and off. And then if you go into the menu, it's very handy because it pretty much can control your entire smart home. So you can control your lights, you can control your smart lock. So my August is on there, so I can control that right there. I can check out my thermostat, which we're going to look at in a minute, but I can control that from there. And again, I have these throughout the apartment. These are also really cool if you're a Sonos person. So these are kind of custom made for Sonos. They're one of the only devices out there that can directly control your Sonos. So I could put a music tab here if I was a Sonos person, and it would show what's currently playing with the album art and everything. It's pretty cool. And you can set up different scenes to do different things. It does use that assistant. It has that built in. I won't say her name. And you can add several different devices that are compatible with it. Each one of these is also a camera. So you could check in on various places in your home depending on where you have these, but there's a camera built into this. And it also can be used as an intercom. So you can communicate with your family through these. So if you had one of these in each room, you could use this as an intercom. And you can see that right there. So I can communicate with each of those rooms, both intercom and camera. And you can have alarms and all sorts of different things. It's a very, very smart light switch. Very cool. And again, I have these throughout the apartment and they work great together. All right, so that is the brilliant light switch. Making our way down the hallway. We got our laundry room there, very exciting. And then some of my daughter's art. All the art in this apartment is original, either my daughter, my wife, my dad, or I'll tell you about it in a minute, me. This is the women's wing. I won't invade their privacy, but that's the women's bathroom, and that's the teenager's room. But again, I won't invade their privacy. I've got these shades shut for now to make this video, but at the end I'll show you my favorite part of this apartment, and that is the view. Moving on to our dining room. 3 devices in the dining room, actually 4 if you count the smart lights. But we've got the Logitech Circle View camera. Now that camera works with what's called Apple HomeKit Secure. So it's specifically designed for Apple. I mean, we've had several different types of cameras in here that work with Google and Amazon, but at this particular moment we're using that HomeKit Secure. HomeKit Secure is cool because if you have a high enough iCloud storage plan, you don't have to pay a monthly fee for this camera. And it's got facial recognition, vehicle recognition, pet recognition, all sorts of different features. But most cameras have a monthly fee, and if you have a high enough iCloud storage, no monthly fee on that camera. And we'll talk about HomeKit Secure on other videos, and we'll specifically break that down. We've got another brilliant light switch. This is the 4-switch version. So again, I can either just use those sliders there, or I can go into the menu and control all sorts of things in my smart home. Then we got the Ecobee Smart Thermostat. This is one of the most popular thermostats out there. Nest also has a very popular thermostat, the Nest Learning Thermostat. But this one is the most universal. Nest is made to work with Google Home. This one's kind of universal. Works with Siri really well, works with Amazon really well, works with Google very well. But, you can control this remotely from anywhere in the world. It's got different room sensors. So the nice thing about that is, so let's say you've got a multi-story house and the upper level is always different temperature than the lower level. You can put sensors on each level and they kind of average each other out, which is very nice. So it takes the average temperature of all the sensors and you can put them in as many rooms as you want, and it will control all of them and average out the temperature, which really helps you save some money on your heating and cooling bill. So that's the Ecobee thermostat, smart thermostat. Again, you can control this on your phone. You can control this through HomeKit. Various ways you can control this thing. Or you can just go old school, go up to the wall and control it. Moving on to our least exciting room in the apartment as far as smart devices, and that's the kitchen. Now, I will mention this is one of the things that's kind of affected by having an apartment compared to a home. The management company here is amazing, specifically our landlord. Big shout out to her. She's amazing. She lets us do all this stuff. So in an apartment, you want to make sure you have permission to do some of this stuff. But that's why you don't see smart appliances in here, because it's an apartment. I can only do so much. If this was a house, I would switch all these out with smart appliances. But it is what it is. But that's really the only thing that hinders you as far as the smart apartment goes. These are smart bulbs. We got smart bulbs above. We got smart bulbs there. And we're going to cut away at the end and kind of show you our lighting at night. So again, kitchen's probably the least exciting, but anyway. Moving on to the living room, you are greeted by our NanoLeaf wall panels. Now this is the triangle version, but they also come in hexagons and squares, and they're coming out with different shapes all the time. Now I'm going to cut away and show you this at night when we get to the smart bulbs, and I kind of show you all the smart lighting at night. But so right now this is white and it's pretty boring, but this thing will dance to music. It changes colors. Each panel, you can touch these things, and it's almost like having a disco dance floor. There's all sorts of things you can do with this thing. For us, it's this is my art. I was talking about how everything in here is original art. My family tells me, since I didn't inherit my dad's talent, my dad had an art gallery in New York, very talented artist. Since I didn't inherit that talent and my daughter did instead, this is my art. The NanoLeaf wall panels. All right, then we've got smart lighting above, which I'll talk about. Then we've got our Apple TV. Apple TV, is a streaming box where you can, if you're a streamer, you can watch TV on it, you can watch Netflix, you can watch YouTube, all these different things. But it also acts as a hub. So when you're using Apple HomeKit, which again, I'll kind of break down at the end of the video, you have to have a hub to control it remotely. A lot of these things you can control while you're at home without a hub, but with a hub, you can control it when you're not home. So if you with the newest software update, you can go into your HomeKit apps or your most popular HomeKit settings and control them. So I've got different lighting scenes and things I can control from my Apple TV, and then I can also see my cameras. So the cool thing about that feature is any TV in your house that you have an Apple TV, you can see your cameras. So as far as the security devices we sell, it's always a very popular request to be able to see their cameras on their TV. Well, with Apple HomeKit, there you go. So you can kind of have it off to the side here and still control what's going on, or you can blow it up full screen like I did before. There's my other camera in the hallway. The other cool thing about this is with these HomePods, and HomePods is Apple's version of the smart speaker. Those things have amazing sound, which I'd play for you if it wasn't for licensing. But that's got Siri built into it. Pretty much anything you can do with Siri on your phone, you can do with that HomePod. And it also acts as a hub. So you can use the hub at the Apple TV or the HomePods as a hub. Or if you have an iPad, an extra iPad, and you have that laying around, you can just leave that at home. And then again, you can control all these devices when you're away from home very easily. But what I was going to say is, as a home theater experience, these HomePods paired together, now they are capable of Dolby Atmos, which is an amazing sound feature. With the Apple TV, you have Dolby Vision, and so you can watch various movies and have complete Dolby Atmos surround sound. 5.1 Dolby Atmos. Sounds amazing. So between the Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, great way to watch a movie, or television for that matter. So pair two HomePods together. There's also some HomePod Minis, which I'll show you. They're perfect for like the bathroom or kitchen. But these do like kitchen timers. If you had one in your bedroom, you can do alarm clocks. Pretty much everything you can do with Siri on your phone, you can do with a HomePod. So that's Apple TV and HomePods, and they can kind of be your brain's of the smart home operation. All right, so moving on. We got the Dyson fan, air purifier, heater. And why I mentioned that as a smart home device is, number one, even with the Dyson app, you can control that from your phone. But now with Siri shortcuts, which we'll have a separate video on, Siri shortcuts, the possibilities are endless. You can do all sorts of custom commands with Siri and controller using Siri with your phone, tablet, HomePod, Apple TV even, but then you can just control it using Siri. So again, Dyson has their own app where you can control this remotely, but with Siri shortcuts, this becomes a whole different beast. Okay. And then again, in the living room, we have a ton of smart lighting, which I'm going to show you at the end and demonstrate it at night. But here we go. Here's the brains of the operation. People do not realize how important the router is in this entire equation. And it doesn't matter if you're doing Apple, Google, Amazon, whatever smart home platform you're using. There's several others out there. Like I said, those are the three most popular. But the router is the key to the whole thing. And nowadays, people are going to what's called a mesh network. And that's what this Orbi here is. I've got two of them, one in here and one in the daughter's bedroom. And this bad boy right here is a beast. People do not realize you can pay whatever you want to pay for your internet through your internet provider. So let's say you're paying for gigabit internet. It doesn't matter if you don't have the router to support it. So for example, before I bought this Orbi, I had another router in here. And even though I was paying for gigabit speed, I was only getting about 600 speed out of 1,000. And that was because of the router's limitations. I bought this bad boy, and now I'm getting 999 up and 999 down. Now, if you know about internet speeds, you'll know how impressive that is. So this router right here allows me to control all these smart devices very easily with no latency, no delays. So two keys with this. Number one, you got to have the internet speed from your provider. And number two, when you're paying that, you obviously want it to work. So you need the router to support it. And again, I'll have a link in the description below of all these devices. So if you want to check them out, please feel free. But I've tried a ton of routers in here, and this is by far the most impressive. It just handles it seamlessly. But these mesh routers, like I said, there's two of them. People don't realize is they'll get Wi-Fi extenders or Wi-Fi boosters. Well, Wi-Fi boosters can boost, but they don't necessarily extend. Wi-Fi extenders can extend, but they actually weaken your internet connection. So a mesh network, you put a couple of these in your house, or there's several models where you can have, let's say, up to 6 of them, depending on how big your house is. But they form a huge wall of Wi-Fi in between them, and so they form a mesh network. That's why that's called a mesh network. So that's the way to go. Buy a mesh router. And there are several different brands out there, but after trying them all, this is the bad boy that gets it done. And again, any of these devices, check out the link in the description below. Moving on to the bedroom. So of course we have our smart lights in here as well. Smart lights everywhere. It's hard to tell right now, but I'll show this at night. But there's smart lights behind the bed, behind our end tables there. We've got another Dyson. And again, with Siri shortcuts, I can control that with my phone and using Siri. We've got HomePods in every room. So even in the bathroom, we can talk to Siri and control our smart home from every room. Some of the wife's art. And then we also have an Apple TV in here as well. So again, if I wanted to, I can see my cameras in here also. Very handy. Then we got the Voco Smart Humidifier, which is nice that it works with HomeKit. There's not a lot of humidifiers out there that work with the smart home. This changes colors. It has a night light. It has motion detection light. So when you walk in here at night, the light will turn on. And then, of course, it's a humidifier as well. But I can control that with HomeKit remotely, which is pretty cool. Last but not least, we have the bathroom. Not very exciting in here. We have the smart lights, and this is the HomePod Mini, which I told you about. You know, you have the full-size HomePod like I have on my television in the living room. This is the Mini. Works just like the HomePod in the living room, just missing the feature like you can't use the Dolby Atmos as a surround sound, but it pretty much does everything else. Very handy to have in the kitchen or the bathroom or even a bedroom. Okay, so that's the tour in a nutshell. I did want to show you some of the other brilliant light switches we had throughout the apartment. One in the bedroom, one in the main area, and again you saw the one in the dining room. Also real quick, like I said, all original art in here. For those of you that know me, this is the painting that's on my arm, painted by my dad. Just thought I'd share that with you real quick. Lots of drugs in the 60s. I didn't say that. Hippies versus the police. Okay. Before we move on to the smart lights at night, I did want to show you the view. My favorite part of living here. Omaha, Nebraska, on a beautiful, but yet very chilly winter day. The heart of our skyline. See for miles. All right, let's check out some smart lights at night. Here we go. Okay, as I show you these smart lights at night, I want to kind of do a little side note on how important these smart lights can be as far as the security component. So as you can see, it's pretty cool to be able to control your colors. And I'm doing this with Siri by giving my Siri command and then just asking Siri to change lights different colors. With these nanoleaf wall panels, I'm doing this with a whistle, and you can see that it's dancing to my whistle. You can't hear me whistling, but that's what's happening. I would have done it with music, but I was considering doing audio for this video, and I didn't want to worry about licensing. But I'm making those panels dance. But going back to the security component, could be a real big deal. I mean, you can, with these smart lights, you can make people think you're home when you're not. So you can have lights come on at night when you're on vacation, that kind of thing. You can also, let's say your house is dark when you're coming home, the lights can come on automatically. They're smart enough to know when you're coming home through HomeKit. And so that's a great feature. But there's a lot of different safety components to smart lights. And that's kind of how we got into the smart home game, is through smart lights. That's where it started, because it was a huge security benefit. And then we kind of branched out from there. But anyway, smart lights at night. One of my favorite features of the smart home. Okay, moving on, let's kind of explore the HomeKit app. That's the brains of the operation. That's where you can kind of control this. Google has the same thing through the Google Home app. Amazon has the same thing through the Alexa app. So you can, those are kind of the three most popular. But I'm going to show you the HomeKit app and some of the things you can do to tie all this together. All right, so again, this is just one central location to keep all your devices organized and where you can control everything from one spot. This is the Home app on your iPhone, iPad, or laptop. You can control each device, toggle it on and off. There's my thermostat. There's my smart lock. You can see all my TVs on there, my Apple TVs, my HomePods. I can control the settings of all these devices from here. Just one nice central spot to control everything in your home. My cameras are down below. And here you can see where I've separated each by room. So when you set up these devices, you determine what room it's in. And then you've got everything in each room all separated. So you can easily go to those devices and control them. Here's my automations. I've got my lights change colors every night. Does that automatically. My HomePods come on when we arrive. So we've got music to walk into. My HomePods go off when we leave. I can do all that through automations. That's the HomeKit app. Okay, that concludes our tour. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the overview of HomeKit. Hope you enjoyed seeing all the smart home devices that we've got going on in here. Hope you enjoyed the art. Hope you enjoyed the view. SilverHammer Surveillance, security people, yes, but we're also your tech people. Come to us for your smart home needs, smart apartment needs. We got you covered. We've got a showroom if you're here locally. Come on in, we'll give you a personal demonstration. I'd love to show it to you. Again, all this stuff passes through this apartment first, and then once I'll put my stamp on it, it makes it to our showroom. Even if you're not local, hope you enjoyed the tour. Please check back on the channel for more Tech Talk with Mr. SilverHammer. We'll be doing unboxings and reviews and all sorts of things. And I can't wait. Tech is my thing. I love talking about it. So again, thanks for joining us. If you like this video, smash the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace and love.